Khan Shalom Nazar. Shalom, shalom. All right, Khan. So first and foremost, we're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Wamalak Yahweh Shah. All right, you see the title of the lesson. Uh, how shall you obtain wisdom? Where do you get wisdom? And we're not talking about the wisdom that's of the world. We're speaking about the wisdom of the Most High, the wisdom that sits on the throne, that sit next to the throne of the Most High God, man. That the Most High God used to create the whole entire universe, the whole entire planet, and everything in it. You know. So let's get right into it. Let's get Job chapter 28.
God, this is the book of Job, chapter 28, verse 12. But where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding?
All right, go ahead.
Man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living.
Right. So the Bible says, where do we get wisdom from? Because we do not go to college to get wisdom. You can't just go and find wisdom. You can't just get wisdom just off the strength, man. It's only one way that you can get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know. But let's continue.
God. Verse 14 says, the depth said, it is not in me, and the sea said, it is not with me.
Right. So the bottom of the ground is saying it's not here, and the bottom of the sea is saying it's not here either. Right. Hey, Mahar, if you want to come on, you can. So these things are saying, hey, it's not here, and it's speaking about wisdom. Wisdom is not here with me, because we know that wisdom is in the heavens with the Most High God. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Verse 15. It cannot be gotten for gold, neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof.
All right, go ahead.
It cannot be valued with the gold of Ophir, with their precious onyx, or the sapphire.
Right. So these are the most beautifulest, precious metals and jewels upon the face of the earth. But it says that wisdom is the price of wisdom is far more greater than these things. And, you know, gold is highly valued. Gold is backed by everything. Gold backs everything, man. But it said wisdom, knowledge, understanding is far more above these things. But continue reading.
Verse 17. The gold and the crystal cannot equal it, and the exchange of it shall not be for jewel of fine gold.
All right. Go ahead.
No mention shall be made of coral, of a pure pearls of the price. Wisdom is above rubies.
So the price of wisdom is above rubies. And and the Most High gave this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to his elect men, to his chosen, right? And we buy this without money. You do it by praying for this wisdom or following the law, statutes, commandments, and you may obtain this wisdom. And we about to get that. How do you obtain this wisdom? Because like I said, man, you can't go to college for it. There's no way you can go on the earth. And we just read, you can't go into the depth of the ground. You cannot go to the bottom of the sea to get this wisdom. You get it by praying to the Most High and following his laws, statutes, and commandments. All right. So let's drop down to verse 20 now. And let's read to 23.
Verse 20. Whence then cometh wisdom, and where is the place of understanding?
Right. So where do wisdom come from? This is what it's asking. This is a beautiful scripture to get the lesson started. Where did wisdom come from, and where is the place of understanding? All right, go ahead though.
Seeing it is hid from the eyes of all living, and kept close from the fowls of the air. Destruction, right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Kind. Destruction and death say, we have heard the fame thereof with our ears.
So it says destruction and death say, we have heard of the fame thereof. Why? Because a man of wisdom, he's going to stay away from death and destruction. And when you stay away from something according to the Bible, hey, That will make you famous, man. Staying away from death and destruction will make you a wise man, a wise man. So to death and destruction, that will make you famous, man. But let's read the next verse.
God understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof.
Right. So the Most High God is the only one that know where this wisdom is. We just read it's not in the sea, it's not in the ground. It's it can't be exchanged for rubies or gold. There's no way to get it unless the Most High God give it to you, and He gave it to the nation of Israel. Man, we just got to seek this wisdom. But drop down to verse 28.
Verse 28 says, and unto men he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding.
Right. So the fear of the Most High God, you fearing Him, that is wisdom. That is, hey, that's what makes you a wise man. A wise man is going to fear the Most High God. But these people clearly are not wise because they do not fear the Most High God. That is a wise, and wise can go into intelligent or strategic. It can go in many different words. But in this case, you're wise, man, for fearing the Most High God and keeping His law, statutes, commandments. And we're not talking about the worldly wisdom. This is the wisdom that obtaineth salvation, man. Right? Because it tells you that in Wisdom of Solomon, I believe it's the 7th chapter, how great men are saved through wisdom. You being wise, man, it keeps you from death and destruction. We just read that also, right? And to depart from evil is understanding, right? So from there, let's go to James 1 now. Let's get that. James chapter 1 and verse 5.
I'm here. This is James chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him.
Right. So if anybody lack wisdom, anyone, if you want wisdom, you want to be able to know how to break down the scriptures. Hey, that's wisdom for you to be able to know how to break down this Bible, man. It's like a superpower, man. And that's where this wisdom is. It's like a superpower. You know, look at Solomon, man. Look at the judgments that he performed by having this wisdom. Go to the book of Solomon, Wisdom of Solomon, and read it and see how much wisdom come forth out of it. Or the book of Proverbs or Ecclesiastes, man, and see how much wisdom comes out of it, man. Even the book of Sirach deals with all wisdom. But keep going, Noah. But Salakia. So it says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that give it to all men liberally. So the Most High will give you this freely. You have to pray for it, and the Most High God will give you this. But you have to be doing what He instructed you to do, though. We all want wisdom. So, matter of fact, Kodash, go to Sirach 39 right quick. Go to Sirach chapter 39 and read verse 1. Hey, we all want wisdom. We all want to be able to understand the parables, the dark sayings, to break down these scriptures, man, to in a more simpler way, you know.
I got a precept after you, King.
God.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecy.
Right. And this is something we all want to do, man. And it takes wisdom to be able to do these things. Wisdom has to be given to you to be able to understand these dark sayings, these prophecies, these parables. You're a wise man if you understand that. And we're talking about the wisdom that the world has never had. Because if they understood, if they had that wisdom and they understood what was about to happen to this earth, they would have repented, man. So they are destitute of wisdom. And we're about to get that. So let's get that James 1. Matter of fact, go ahead. Then we go back to James.
God, I got Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 real quick. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8. And I'm going to start at verse 17. It says, now when I consider these things in myself and ponder them in my heart, how that to be allied unto wisdom is immortality. So like you was going into earlier, you said when you stay away from something, you stay away from death, you become famous. And to be allied unto wisdom is immortality. If you have wisdom, you'll move in a certain way and the Most High won't kill you. We know, Enoch got translated. He didn't see death. There's a couple brothers that didn't see death. Elijah. But verse 18, it says, "In great pleasure it is to have her friendship, and in the works of her hands are infinite riches." It says, "In the works of her hands are infinite riches." That's why she's far above the price of rubies, gold, this, that, and a third. I'm gonna keep going though. It says, "And in the exercise of her conference with her, prudence and talking with her a good report, I went about seeking how to take her with me." It's like you're seeking how to take her to me. So Solomon went seeking how to take her to him, wisdom. Verse 19, it says, "For I was a witty child and had a good spirit, yea, rather being good, I came into a body undefiled." It says, "Nevertheless, when I perceived that I could not otherwise obtain her," talking about wisdom, he could not otherwise obtain her except God gave her me. And that was a point of wisdom also, to know whose gift she was. So you have to know that wisdom is a gift, and you have to know whose gift it is. It's the Most High God's gift. It says, "I prayed unto the Lord and besought him with my whole heart, I said." So this is Solomon telling you that it's even wisdom to know that it's the gift of the Most High. He has to give her, just like the captain is going into. The Most High have to give wisdom. I got one more precept. This is Matthew 7:9. It says, "Or what man is there of you?" So like I'm kind of going fast. This is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 9. It says, "Or what man is there of you whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then being evil know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him?" So all Yahushua saying is, if your son asks you for bread, you're not gonna give him a stone. If your son asks you for a fish, you're not gonna give him something else that's not a fish. Yahushua said, if you then being evil know how to give good gifts, how much more your Father which is in heaven, if you ask him. If you ask for wisdom, he's not gonna give you folly. If you ask for wisdom, he's not gonna give you a lack of understanding. No, he's gonna give you wisdom, just like James said. But that's it, Ak. You got it.
God, hey, beautifully put. Let's go back to the James 1 and 5, because hey, that's what James chapter 1 is about. You praying for wisdom, the Lord is going to give it to you liberally and upbraideth not. And upbraideth means to hold back. He's not going to hold back the wisdom. The Most High wants to give you this wisdom. Hey, the Most High said we was destroyed because we left the fountain of wisdom. That's why we was destroyed. These law, statutes, commandments is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It gave us a godlike complex, man. Give us that great mindset. But go ahead, Op.
Khan, this is James chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him.
Right?
But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed."
Right. So the Most High is telling you, when you do ask for this wisdom, he said, ask in faith, nothing wavering. Don't even doubt it for a second that the Most High is not going to give it to you, because the Most High already wants to give it to you. Hey, if you read the Sirach, the first chapter, it tells you all about how the fear of the Lord is wisdom. So this is the beginning of it. You fearing the Most High God, you keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and you praying for this wisdom, and the Lord will give it to you. Well, let's continue though.
Khan, verse 7. It says, "For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways."
Right. So the Most High said, if you don't ask in faith with nothing wavering, hey, he says, let you think that you ain't gonna get nothing. You're not gonna get anything, man. You're not gonna get the wisdom that you pray for, because you're not sincere. You're not asking in faith, man. Actually knowing that the Most High is going to give you this wisdom. It's not like the Most High runs out of wisdom like man. We run out of stuff. The Most High don't run out of wisdom. He can pour upon you wisdom, hey, like he did Solomon. Solomon is a perfect example. This man was so intelligent. He had so much wisdom, man. Everybody came to him for wisdom, man. Hey, it tells you in the prologue in Sirach how he desired to have the wisdom of Solomon. And Sirach had just as much wisdom, if you ask me. Sirach is one of my favorite books. But let's continue though. Let's go to matter of fact, let's go to Sirach chapter 1. Sirach chapter 1, and let's read verse 14. And in Sirach, man, in chapter 1, it tells you to fear the Lord and you shall be given wisdom. So there's different kind of ways that they all go to the same thing, is dealing with the Most High God. This is how you get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Fear him, keep his commandments, and you pray for the wisdom. All right.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 1, from the top. All wisdom cometh from the Lord, and is with him forever.
Right. So drop down to verse 14.
Verse 14. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb.
So it says the fear of the Lord, to fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. So some men already had this wisdom. It just needs to be unlocked. You know, you'll see certain people in the world, you'll be like, you're a smart man. Only thing you missing is the Bible. So it was created with the faithful in the womb, but it just needs to be unlocked. But let's continue.
Verse 15. She hath built an everlasting foundation with men, and she shall continue with their seed.
Right? She's going to continue with their seed, the men, right? Not saying that women don't have wisdom, but the wisdom and knowledge and understanding that comes from the Most High God, he bestowed it upon men, man. All right, so let's drop down to verse 20, 26, 25 and 26. Let's get that.
Verse 25. The parables of knowledge are in the treasures of wisdom, but godliness is an abomination. But godliness is an abomination to sinners.
Right. So the parables of knowledge, the parables of the facts of the like the parables of Yahushua. Those parables, when you have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you can read that and break that down like it was you who wrote it, man. That's what wisdom does, man. Wisdom gives you the ability to examine these things and see right through it, and to be able to apply it and to break it down to somebody who don't understand it. Read verse 26 also. Hey, and it also says, though, godliness is an abomination to a sinner. A sinner is not going to want this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. A sinner is going to overlook this. A sinner is not going to want to apply this to his daily life because he's not going to look at it as beneficial, man. Just how they look at us, man. Us following the Bible, they think we're still in slavery because we're following the Bible, when it's really their minds that's in slavery, man. We have the wisdom, right? We have the fear of the Most High. We pray every day. We follow the law, statutes, and commandments that he set out for us, right? This makes us separate from the rest of the world because this is what gives us the wisdom, right? Go ahead, though.
If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments in the Lord's.
Hey, so there it is right there. So, hey, the fear of the Lord is wisdom. You follow the law, statutes, commandments, you'll get wisdom. And you pray for wisdom when you wake up and when you go to sleep, man.
Precept King.
Salakia, go ahead.
Khan. Kodash, can you read that one more time?
God. Verse 26. If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments.
God, that's it.
Shalom, shalom, everybody tuning in the comment section. Salakia, man. If y'all got any precepts on wisdom, hey, post them in the chat when we'll read them, man. Trying to make this a complete lesson, man. Go ahead, Doak.
Khan, he said, if thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 4. It says, for into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin. So we see right here that if you do not keep the commandments, which is transgressing the law, you know, you're a sinner, you're in sin. Wisdom will not come in unto you. That's how we know that a lot of people who move around thinking that they wise, thinking that they woke, thinking they got all this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, thinking they spiritual. We see through the facade. We see that they're not with the wise men, wise women. We see that they're not, because their body is subject unto sin, and the scriptures say that wisdom won't dwell in you. Wisdom won't be there. She's not gonna be with you if you're sitting there and you're subject to sin. What is wisdom gonna do with you? She's not gonna abound in you, you know. But that's it.
God, wisdom is not going to abound in you, man. Right? And like the brother said, man, there's plenty of people out there. They feel like you can't teach them nothing because they have all the wisdom, they have all the knowledge, and they have all the understanding. But we, the ones who actually have this, dealing with the Bible, we can see straight through that, man. And we can see they are definitely destitute of wisdom, man. It talks, hey, so let's just get Wisdom of Solomon 6. We're gonna get it in a second. 6 and 17.
Con, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 17. It says, for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love.
Right? It's talking about wisdom. And let's get that. Salakia. Go up to verse 12.
Con, this is Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 12. It says, wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her.
Hey, so you see that? She is easily seen of them that love her. So the ones that actually love wisdom, we see when another man has wisdom, man. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And we cleave to those men when we see that they have that wisdom. But somebody that's destitute of wisdom is not going to see that. They're going to look at you like you crazy, like you the one that don't have no wisdom. Hey, and that's just how it go, man. The righteous versus the wicked. Right? So now we know it's talking about wisdom. Drop down to verse 17.
Con, this is Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 17. It says, for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love.
Right. So the first thing is discipline. You gotta learn how to discipline yourself. These are the actions, the steps you have to take to be able to obtain this wisdom. Right? Because you have to do something to get to this wisdom. You have to do something for the Most High to get this wisdom. Right? And the first thing is disciplining yourself. Right? And it says the care of discipline is love. Now keep going up.
Con, verse 18, it says, and love is the keeping of her laws.
Right? So stop right there. So it says, and love is keeping of her laws. And we know wisdom don't have its own laws. It's talking about the law, statutes, commandments. And let me get that. This is Sirach chapter 19 and 18. It says, the fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaining his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. It says in Salakia, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. It says the fear of the Lord is all wisdom. And we just read that in Sirach, the first chapter, right? It says in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotency, right? So wisdom is the performance of the law. So going back to when it says the keeping of her laws, you have to keep the law, statutes, commandments to be able to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. You have to, man. You have to. And when I say when we say to the best of your ability, it really has to be to the best of your ability, man. You can't be like, oh, I got grace that everything will be okay this time. No, that ain't how that works. But let's keep going though.
So like I got one quick precept. This is Proverbs 8 and 36. It says, but he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. And this is talking about wisdom. And you can see it's talking about wisdom at verse 12. So Khan, that was just a quick precept on that.
Khan, verse 18.
Khan, this is Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 18. And love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption.
Right. And that's what we all work hard for, man, is to make it into the kingdom, to have immortality. Incorruption is another word for immortality. Right. So the giving heed to our laws is the assurance of incorruption. You know, because this body that we have now, it decays, man. And if you have wisdom, you'll understand that we waiting to get our spiritual bodies. Right. We got these chains of darkness on us, but let's keep going though.
Con, verse 19. And incorruption maketh us near unto God.
Therefore, right? Incorruption and we all want to be near unto God. And the Most High God can't die. So This is how you. This is what makes you near unto God. You not being able to die, and the Lord will give that to you. All right, but go ahead.
Con. One more quick precept. This is Proverbs 8:35. It says, "For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord." So, obtaining wisdom makes you near unto God, and obtaining wisdom gets you favor with the Most High God. But this is Wisdom of
Hey, and we
Solomon.
all want favor. Hey, it tells you that the Most High only bestowed a couple people favor, and the rest were blinded, man. Only a couple people is going to receive this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. They're going to understand and follow these guidelines and what they have to do to obtain this wisdom. Wisdom is so beautiful, man. And we just read how someone that love wisdom will be easily seen of wisdom. It'll be easily seen, man. Wisdom is easily seen for somebody that has the understanding. Well, let's continue. Verse 20.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 20. It says, "Therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom."
The desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. You having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, it bring forth to a kingdom. Let's get that right quick. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter, I believe it's 7 and 20. 7 and 30.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 30.
Salakia. 9 and 18. 9 and 18.
Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 18. It says, "For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed, and men were taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, and were saved through wisdom."
Right. It's talking about all of our forefathers, man. They were saved through wisdom. They use wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It tells you in Hebrews 11 that Abraham didn't know what exactly was going to be waiting for him when he went to the land of Canaan, the land flowing with milk and honey. He had to use wisdom that the Most High God was speaking to him. He used that wisdom. And it tells us in Isaiah 33 and 6, get that right quick. It says, "Wisdom shall be the stability of your time." You need wisdom, you need that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Could I grab that?
You said Isaiah 33 and 6. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, I got it though. This is Isaiah 33 and 6. Go ahead.
It's Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure."
Right. So it's talking about the fear of the Lord again, but it says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of your time. Wisdom is what's going to keep you stable now and in the days to come, man. Because I always go over how we're coming up on a horrible time period, man. And wisdom is the only thing that's going to keep you stable. You actually knowing these prophecies, knowing these parables, knowing what the Most High God promised you, what he said to you. Only a wise man will go into this Bible. Everybody knows we living in the last days, but nobody goes into this Bible and see what is exactly going to happen and how do you dodge the horrible times in these last days, man. Everybody know about the book of Revelation, the apocalypse. Everybody knows about it, man. But they don't have the wisdom to actually go in the Bible and figure out how to be able to get saved through it, man, because they try to do it on their own. Right. So let's go to Sirach chapter 4 right quick. Sirach 4 and 17.
God, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 4 and verse 17. It reads,
and we're gonna get those scriptures in a second too. Salakia. Go ahead, Glock.
Sirach 4 and 17. For at the first we will walk with him by quicker ways.
Right. So this is talking about wisdom. Matter of fact, drop down to verse 11 and let's prove it that it's talking about wisdom in this chapter also.
Sirach chapter 4 and verse 11. Wisdom exalted her children and laid hold on them that seek her.
Right. So wisdom exalted her children. You see them by their fruits. Our forefathers in the Bible, all these men had wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, especially Solomon. wisdom had exalted those children of hers. Right. So go ahead though. Drop down to verse 17.
Verse 17. For at the time she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment with her discipline
All right,
until
stop right there. So it says, for at the first, wisdom will walk with you by your crooked ways. This you coming in the truth, you still having those sinister ways. It says wisdom will walk with you by your crooked ways. And this is a sign how you will know that wisdom is walking with you, because it says it will bring fear and dread upon you. You know, because when the first thing I did when I came into the truth, my mind kept telling me, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. That's what I kept telling myself. That was it. Wisdom bringing fear and dread upon me, thinking that I'm not going to have enough time to change myself to make it into the kingdom. Right? When I first came into the truth, that's wisdom bringing fear and dread upon you, and it's still good to have that spirit still to this day, man. Being a couple years in the truth, it's still good to have that, man, because you continuously need to change your ways, man. Purge yourself, purify yourself, make yourself clean. Right? It says, bring dread upon him and torment him with her discipline. Wisdom is disciplining you. These are the beginning steps of wisdom dealing with a man. But go ahead.
Until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws.
Right? Try him by the law, statutes, and commands. We just read what it's talking about when it says her laws. It's talking about the Most High God's laws. So it's gonna bring fear and dread upon you, and it's gonna discipline you until it can trust you. And then it says it's gonna try you by her laws. But continue.
Verse 18. Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and shew him her secrets.
Right? And we just read that in Sirach chapter 39, the parables, the dark sayings, all of these that's in the Bible. You can unlock all of these, man, if you keep wisdom near you, if you allow wisdom to work through you. Actually let wisdom do what it's, don't resist the spirit. You want that spirit to discipline you. That's within you, man. Hey, but go ahead though.
Okay. Verse 19. But if he go wrong, she will forsake him and give him over to his own ruin.
And that's why you see a lot of people fall out of the truth, man. Because he don't want to, he feel that dread and the discipline upon him, but he's not doing nothing about it. So it says that wisdom will forsake you, and she's gone to the next person, man. That spirit is gone into the next brother. So wisdom can forsake you, man. It says, and give you over to your own ruin. Whatever you won't stop doing, the Lord will give you over to that. Wisdom will give you over to that. So, hey, the Most High got wisdom doing his work too, man. So from there, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, the first chapter. Let's get a little bit more on wisdom. Let's start at verse 6.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 6. For wisdom is a loving spirit, and will not acquit a blasphemer of his words.
Right? So it says wisdom is a loving spirit. So this is another sign we see of wisdom. Wisdom is a loving spirit. A wise man is going to love his people, man. And it's not always rebuke you. That's me loving you. We talking about actually loving your brother, man. Dealing with the fruits of the spirit. And Galatians 5 and 22. That's wisdom. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Salakia. For God.
Just read it from the top again and read it slow.
Okay. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 6. For wisdom is a loving spirit, and will not acquit a blasphemer of his words.
Right. So wisdom will not acquit a blasphemer of his words, man. You're going to be held accountable for those words. Wisdom is going to search out those words. Wisdom is going to search out what's in your mind too, man. Right? Go ahead, though. Hey, and Aharon, can you get that? We're going to start off with that Deuteronomy. I believe it's Deuteronomy chapter 4. God, Deuteronomy chapter 4. We're going to start at 5. But go ahead, I keep reading.
Khan. For God is a for God is witness of his ruin reign, and a true beholder of his heart, and a hearer of his tongue.
So it's talking about God being the witness of your reigns, the things that you do, and a true beholder of your heart, which is your mind, and of what you say, your tongue. And he's using all this through wisdom. He's using these things to identify what you do, what you say, hey, how you think through wisdom, man. Right? But go ahead though.
For the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world,
Right?
and that which containeth all things have knowledge of the voice.
Right? Because, like, a and a perfect example is the first thing the Most High God said is, "Let there be light," in the book of Genesis. So it says, "And that which containeth all things have knowledge of His voice." Right? Let there be light, and there was light. But go ahead though. I keep going.
Verse 8. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid, neither shall vengeance when it punished pass by him.
Hey, and this is something brothers do that fall out the truth, man. They start backbiting. They start talking about the Bible, man. But it says it right here that it says, therefore, he hath speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. You're not going to be hid. You're going to be held accountable for everything you say, man. And that a wise man, hey, he's gonna stay diligent in the Bible. He's gonna make sure he don't do anything to cross the Most High. You know, he's gonna pray for more wisdom. You know, a wise man gonna see that he has wisdom. That's cool, but he's gonna pray for more wisdom, like Solomon. Solomon prayed. Hey, Salakia, my phone's going on. Hold on 1 second.
Con, you straight, King. I'm gonna grab a point real quick because he keep mentioning Solomon, and he was I think this is what he was finna go to. This is First Kings chapter 3 verse. I'm gonna start at 7. It says, "Now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude." He said, "Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this, thy so great a people?" So the Most High told Solomon basically to ask the Most High for anything and he would give it. And what did Solomon ask for? Solomon asked for wisdom and understanding to judge his people, to judge the Most High's people. He didn't ask for gold. He didn't ask for rubies. He didn't ask for the whole world. He didn't ask for this, that, and the third. He asked for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Verse 10, this is 1 Kings 3 and 10. "And the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said unto him, Because thou hast asked this thing, and has not asked for a Salakia, and has not asked for thyself long life, neither asked riches for thyself, nor has asked the life of thine enemies, but thou, Salakia, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment." Verse 12, "Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and an understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee." So, Khan, Solomon didn't ask for riches. He didn't ask for a long life. He didn't ask for his enemies' necks. He didn't ask for these things. He asked for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which pleased the Most High. He asked for that, and the Most High gave it to him. He said that there was none like thee before, neither will there be none like thee after. This is the amount of wisdom that Solomon was moving in. If you read in Wisdom, Salaki, if you read in Wisdom of Solomon, he tells you how much wisdom that he has. He said he knows the thoughts of men, the circuits of the stars, how the planet works, how everything moves, this, that, and the third. This is the amount of wisdom that Solomon was moving with. Why? Is it because something that he just like studied for all his life, this, that, and the third, and he went to college for? Did he pay for wisdom? No. All he did was ask. That's where James got the understanding from. Ask God and he will give it to you. Same thing Yahushua said, ask God of wisdom, ask God of anything, and he'll give it to you. It's a gift. What do you do with a gift? You don't purchase gifts, you give gifts. Most High gave him the gift of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Bakan, you back, Captain?
God. Hey, beautifully put, man. So you at the First Kings 3?
Yeah, I didn't already went through all that.
All right. So did you get the account in 16?
Oh, where he judged the women?
Yeah, let's get the account, man. Let's give an example. Let's give an example on how wisdom how it's being operated.
Definitely. This is First Kings 3, and I'm gonna start at 16. It says, then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king and stood before him. Now, Solomon is king at this time. So 2 harlots came to him. Verse 17, and the one woman said, oh, my Lord, and I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house. So both of these harlots have gave birth to children in the same house. They living together. There's nobody else there. Verse 19, and this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. So the lady is coming up with a complaint and was like, we both had kids, but in the middle of the night, hers died. So she swapped our babies out. This is the complaint that the lady is coming to Solomon with. Her kid died and she swapped my baby with her baby. That's my kid, but her kid is dead. Verse
Go
ahead.
Hey, and another thing too, you'll be like, the babies didn't look alike. So it's like, why would you? That's the example of an unwise thing. Like you acting like they're not gonna be able to tell the difference of babies just because the king doesn't. But the king is anointed for a reason, man. He has the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding for a reason because he's king. And this is a perfect example, man. But go ahead, Axelakian.
You good. Verse 21. It says, and when I arose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear. And the other woman said, nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, no, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king. So you got these 2 women arguing and bickering before Solomon, before the king. Solomon's kind of just sitting there like, damn, is it your kid? Is it your kid? What's going on?
What's this about?
Yeah, what's going on? A regular man wouldn't know how to approach this. A regular man would be like, well, damn, if she says her kid, then why were you living with her? He's trying to figure out some other way. Let's see what Solomon said.
Hey, he'll be trying to put this baby up to the both mothers' face to see which one look alike, but there's a simpler way to do it. And wisdom will give you simpler ways to do stuff, man. And I've had it done, like, the general or the other captain, even the officers, man, or the soldiers. I'll be doing something and they'll be like, bro, you can just do it like this. And it'd be so simple. And it's like, oh, dang, what I'm saying? Appreciate it. I'm going to take that wisdom, I'm going to use it, man. Well, go ahead,
it's a worldly proverb that says, work smarter, not harder,
Right.
But this is 1 Kings 3:23. And then said the king, the one saith, this is my son that liveth, and thy son is dead, is the dead. And the other saith, nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is living. And the king said, bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, divide the living child in 2, and give half to the one and half to the other. So Solomon said, bring me a sword. We're going to divide them. Since y'all both want this kid, y'all can have him, Then verse 26. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, oh, my Lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divided. Then the king answered and said, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. So Solomon figured out whose mother it was. He figured out whose child it was. Salakia. Yeah, he figured out whose child it was basically by saying, let me divide it. Let's divide it and split it up. And then he figured out the one that said, don't divide it, let her keep it. That's the real mother. Why? Because she loves her child. But the other one is saying, kill it. Why is she saying kill it? Because her son is dead too. If my son dead, well then damn it, your son gotta die too. So Solomon was like,
Perfectly put.
exactly. So he like, don't slay it, give it to her because it's obviously her kid. She loves it, so on and so forth. And that's what wisdom will do for you on an everyday basis. It'll help you get through certain situations by using wisdom. And we coming upon times where we're going to need wisdom. We're going to have to rely on wisdom. You can't be out here moving in such folly and foolishness. No, you need wisdom.
Hey, the wisdom of this world. Salakia. Like the wisdom of this world, a clear example is you thinking a gun gonna save you in the time we coming up on. As long as you got enough guns and enough ammo, that's worldly wisdom right there, man. That's something that men do right now. The wisdom that we have is the scriptures, man, in the future. But Salakia, I did not mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you good, King. I was getting through that story. You straight. Go ahead.
Gone. So you done with the story?
Yeah.
All right, gone. So from there, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 now, man, because that was a beautiful scripture that the brother posted. Beautiful scripture. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some of these I ain't familiar with, so I ain't gonna better break them down. I don't know everything. We don't know everything.
Khan, this is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore.
So this is Salakia. So this is Moses talking. Read that again. This is Moses talking. He said he got the law, statute, commandments from the Most High God, right? But read it one more time.
Khan, it says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
All right, go ahead.
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Hey, there you go, man. Shabbat Henry, that was a beautiful precept, man. And we should have ended off with this precept. But it says, keep therefore and do. It's talking about the law, statutes, commandments in verse 5. And he said, this is your wisdom in the sight of many nations, man. This is the mindset that the Most High got. This is the wisdom that's on the side of the Most High. This is the wisdom we need. This is the wisdom that the Most High gave the nation of Israel that we refuse to come back to, man. Hey, so before we continue, I want to get a precept for this. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, because it tells us what's going to happen to our households if for not applying wisdom to our lives, man. And we see this with the nation of Israel. This happens among our households more than anyone. 3, and we're going to start at verse 11.
Okay, I'm already here.
Okay.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, and verse 11.
Salakia, and one more point. You see, we go into Wisdom of Solomon a lot because, hey, he had the wisdom, man. And he's going to give us an example for somebody who despises wisdom, man. You don't want to apply the law, statutes, commandments to your life. But go ahead.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, and verse 11. For whoso despises wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain.
So it says he is miserable. You're a miserable person. And we see a lot of miserable people out here, man. People that lost hope, man. People don't have no purpose, and they don't even want to know their purpose. Only thing they know, they want to gangbang. They want to be a thug. They want to be a gangster. Women want to be pole dancers. Hey, women want to be rappers. Women want to have masculine spirits. All this is not because we do not apply wisdom to our lives, man. Hey, Aharon, can you find that scripture where it says we've forsaken the fountain of wisdom? But keep going, Noah.
I'm going to start from the top again. For whoso despises wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain. Their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable.
So, hey, this is Solomon breaking it down. He said, your hope is vain. What you have hope in? What do you have hope in? If you're not applying wisdom, the law, statutes, commandments to your life, what do you have hope in? Because it's going to be lost, because the Most High already has prophecy set out for people who do not well, not people, the law, statute, the nation of Israel who do not follow his law, statutes, and commandments. Right. And then it says their labor's unfruitful. It don't matter if you got a good job here in Babylon the Great, man. It's talking about the fruits towards the Most High God, man. Winning souls, like it tells us in Matthew 3, in John 15. Winning souls, that's where the real fruits come from. Bringing forth fruit and changing yourself in the process. That's where the fruits come from, right? Not talking about you having the best job here. You being an engineer, man. Or you being a doctor, man. Or you own Amazon, or you Elon Musk, or damn show Bill Gates, man. Because everybody wants to be like Bill Gates, man. Bill Gates, I don't know if you know, but Bill Gates is a mad scientist. He created the internet, supposedly. But that's worldly wisdom that the Lord gave him, man, to be able to put forth his plan. And it tells us that in Second Ezra is how the internet was created. It was a token to the world. Everything is already written out, man. But let's continue though. Verse 12.
As for
You said, Con, we're gonna get that in a second. Read verse 12.
Verse 12 says, their wives are foolish and their children wicked.
It says their wives are foolish because they don't apply wisdom to their life. They coming out the house half naked, man. And only a unwise man will allow that his wife to walk outside looking like that, man. You ain't wise because you don't even understand that you advertising your woman. You know, you don't have to agree to that, but if you let your wife walk out the house like that, she is advertising herself. She don't need to be on a damn commercial. She advertising herself when every time she come out of the house looking like that. For the highest bidder, man. It says, and their children wicked. They children sneaking out the window. They packing guns. They got a gun in the backyard. Hey, man, this is what happens when you do not apply wisdom to your life. And this is Salakia, 1 second. Salakia. So to correct myself, Bill Gates supposedly created Windows for the internet. Hey, but that's still a major step, man. To have worldly wisdom, that's still a major step, right? So let's read verse 13, and then you can get that precept out.
Verse 13, their offspring is cursed. Wherefore, blessed is the barren that is undefiled, which have not known the sinful bed. She shall have fruit in the visitation of souls.
Right? So their offspring is cursed, man. Hey, it's going, what they call it, generational curses. That's how it's going to be, man. It says, wherefore blessed is the barren that is undefiled, which have not known the sinful bed. It's talking about being an adulteress, man. Right? Now get that precept out right quick.
I'm gonna start up a little higher. It says Baruch 3 and 9. It says, hear Israel, the commandments of life, give ear to understand wisdom. How happeneth it, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy's land, that thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead, that thou art counted with them that go down into the grave, that thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom.
There you go, man. It says we have forsaken the fountain of wisdom. That's why we hear among these heathens, man. That's why the heathens are ruling over us, because we have forsaken the fountain of wisdom, man. If we would have kept following the law, statutes, commandment, we wouldn't be in this position that we in, man. So we did it to ourselves. So we have to seek the Most High God 10 times more, and his wisdom that he has waiting for us. All right. So let's get.
I just got a precept for what you just said. God, this is Baruch 4 and 28. It says, for as it was your mind to go astray from God, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. So that was just a precept of what you said, King.
Go ahead.
No, you ain't got to break nothing down. You already said it. It was just, go on what you said.
Right. So, hey, let's get this one right here by Shabbat Henry. Proverbs 15 and 21. It's a good one right here, man. And this goes with the wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, man.
God.
You can read it off the screen, really.
God, this is Proverbs 15:21. It says, folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly.
All right. So read that one more time, Salakia.
God, it says, folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom.
So folly, doing stupid stuff all the time, it's a beautiful thing. It's fun to somebody that does not have wisdom, right? Because we just read in Job 28, how it says destruction and death has said we have heard of the fame thereof, right? A wise man will stay away from foolishness, stay away from folly, man. But only a man with wisdom. And we read in Sirach, the 4th chapter, where it's talking about how wisdom will walk with you by your crooked ways. So you don't have an excuse. Wisdom is there until you prove yourself to be a good soul to dwell in or a bad soul to dwell in. The choice is yours, man. Right? So let's get this one. I like this one too.
God, this is whole Salaki. I can't read all that off the screen. Let me get it.
I can get it.
Hosea 4:6.
All right, go ahead, King.
It's the Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy.
Right. So this goes with the was that Baruch 2 or Baruch 3 you just brought out with someone forsaking the fountain of wisdom?
Baruch 3.
Right. So these is precepts for each other right here. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Right. The facts of the Bible. And you get the facts of the Bible by dealing with wisdom. Right. It all goes in hand. That's why you hear every camp say wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. They all go hand in hand. So my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. That's because they don't have the wisdom. Because they've forsaken the fountain of wisdom. It says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, you rejected the biblical facts, I will also reject thee. Right? And you don't want the Most High God to reject you. We the only people who, if the heathen can't be saved, we don't want to be saved either. The Most High God rejects us, man, because we don't have this wisdom. We don't want, let's not even say that. We don't want to apply this wisdom to our lives. It says, thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. And we see the results of that, man. Menstruous woman bringing forth monsters, right? You got something else, so
King.
Right. All right, Khan. So let's get Proverbs 4 and 7. Let's close out on that one. The water for the precepts, though.
Officer Ahorn, you got it? You want me to bring it out?
Go ahead, King.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
Hey, so you see it right here in Proverbs chapter 4. It says, wisdom is the principal thing. Hey, and principle goes into the main thing. Wisdom is how you get closer to the Most High. Wisdom is how you be saved. Hey, we just read that in Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 18. You can be saved through wisdom. You're applying these laws, statutes, commandments to your life, to your nature, man. And we all want to obtain salvation, man. Right? So you have to apply wisdom to your life. Right? Well, go ahead, Axelakia.
I wanted to start up. Can I start up to verse 5? And I just want to stop a couple verses. That's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 5. Get wisdom, forget it not, neither decline from the word of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall serve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. You go ahead, Doc.
You good. Go ahead.
So, it says, get wisdom. Ask for wisdom. Also, I said, if you ask for wisdom, he's going to give it to you, like he said, liberally. But, wisdom is telling you not to leave you. Stay with her. She's gonna preserve you from not getting towards the wicked. She's gonna protect you. And it's telling you to love wisdom. you should be wanting to incline wisdom, because that's what's going to protect you in these last days when all hell break loose. So forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. So, kind.
Hey, that was beautifully put, man. Beautifully put, man. So, Khan, man, you got something else out?
Wow.
All right, Khan. So, man, Lord willing, somebody was edified with this lesson, man. And if you got any more precepts, man, to make this a part 2 lesson or to make this a complete lesson, throw them in the chat, even when we close the video out, man. And we'll get back to it, man, together as a body. All right, Ron, you got something?
No, sir.
All right, Khan. So with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Malak, Yahweh Shah, and to the 12 tribes that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. Death to America. Shalom, wa barak, mashpakan.
Shalom.